While the Jazz didn't make the playoffs this year, they shocked many people by being competitive for most of the season, because many believed they would be a tanking team towards the bottom of the league, especially after trading away All-NBA guard Donovan Mitchell and 3-time Defensive Player of the Year Rudy Gobert. This team was a perfect example of why tanking is a fan and front office concept and not a player concept. Players don't like to tank, they want to win as much as possible. Everyone in the NBA was a winner prior to the NBA. That's how they got here. And the Jazz showed that despite not having a great roster, they were going to put up a fight every night. And with the emergence of pieces they got in return for their former cornerstones, the Jazz were a fun team to watch this season. A lot more fun than I anticipated going into the season. They ended up with the 9th pick in the draft because of their own record, and also have a mid-first round pick and a late first round pick, and there are players in particular that I like at each of those picks that I want to talk about. Of course, we do have to start with the players on the team, and that starts with Lauri Markkanen, who had a season that proved many doubters, including myself, wrong. The former top 7 pick had a strong start to his NBA career after being that 7th overall pick to the Timberwolves, but then traded on draft night to the Bulls in the Jimmy Butler trade. But then his development hit a wall after those first 2 seasons, which led to the Bulls not bringing him back. He signed a deal with the Cavs, had a solid season on a borderline playoff team for them, but then Donovan Mitchell became available and he was traded to the Jazz for Donovan Mitchell. And Lauri had a ridiculous season this year. 25.6 points per game, 8.6 rebounds per game, on 49.9, 39.1, 87.5 splits. He made his first All-Star team. He was a borderline All-NBA level performer, and he was very fun to watch. He entered the league as a power forward center, but you watch him now and he's really playing on the wing as a small forward more than often. He's pretty balanced and efficient as a scorer, and when I watch his tape, I don't think it's a fluke either. I think a lot of what he does on tape is about sustainable traits rather than just hitting lucky shots. So I think the best is yet to come for Lauri, and he is a cornerstone for this team moving forward. Then you have Walker Kessler, the rookie big that they got in return for Rudy Gobert. Coming out of Auburn, Walker Kessler put up some absurd block production numbers, and it's translated to the league. 2.3 blocks per game in 23 minutes per game as a rookie. That's 3.7 blocks per game per 36 minutes. The only other rookie to get a first team vote as far as Rookie of the Year placement. I messed up my words there. Roll with it. You know what I meant. He has the frame, feel, and instincts to dominate as a defensive player. He's not a switch big that teams covet in today's NBA. However, like his predecessor, if you're a great paint defender, you bring enough value to make up for the lack of versatility, and Walker Kessler is that level of paint defender. He does have a bit more versatility than you would think. I think his movement skills are a bit better than Rudy Gobert's were, but he is a paint defender for the most part, and he's dominant at it. Now, as far as offense goes, he does flash a bit of a mid-range game at times, but he's mostly a traditional big in the sense of rolling to the rim, catching lobs, dump offs, rim running, things like that. But he's a truly special shot blocker and paint defender, and a good return for losing your 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. And there are other guys outside of those two I like as well. Chris Dunn, who they brought in on a 10-day contract midway through the season, and he's had a career resurgence. He was awesome for them. He put up really good numbers, like the best numbers of his career, and his play led to him getting a long-term extension with the team. And I'm happy for him. I'm a big Chris Dunn fan. He's from the Northeast. He's from Connecticut. I'm from Massachusetts. So he played in the Big East. He was awesome in the Big East. One of the best players in Big East history. Had an unfortunate start to his NBA career because he was playing on a team with a coach that just didn't play him, and that really affected his development. So he's bounced around a little bit, but it seems like he might have a home now, and I hope he does. I'm rooting for him. Very easy person to root for because of his life story. And to see him play well, it meant a lot to me as a fan. So I'm happy for him. Colin Sexton, at the time, what was probably viewed as the big piece they got in return for Donovan Mitchell, he came off the bench, but he looked pretty good as a microwave scorer for them. I think that's his role long term. Okay, Abaji, the other big piece alongside Lauri and Sexton that they got, he was the 14th pick in the draft this past year, and he looked good. He didn't get a lot of playing time, but when he did, he showed signs as like a floor spacer, defender, guy that can attack closeouts, so I think he has promise. Even Talen Horton-Tucker looked good. I know he's kind of a meme, because like the Lakers fans, they viewed him as this like future superstar for so long. They tried to trade him for like Bradley Beal or James Harden, or they say like they wouldn't move them for like James Harden. But even though he ended up getting traded for Patrick Beverley, and honestly that trade worked out better for the Jazz than the Lakers, ironically enough, he looked good. He had flashes of moments where I was like, oh, there's something here. So I like him a decent bit. So those other pieces I do like. But there's one name I really want for them, specifically at pick 9. Cason Wallace is the player I want them to take at pick 9, the guard from Kentucky. He's the best one-and-done defensive guard prospect I've ever evaluated. He has unreal traits and instincts on that end of the floor, great lateral movement and foot speed, high feel for the game on defense, extremely smart, and also has a high motor on defense. He gets blocks and steals. He's physical despite the fact that he's not the biggest guy in the world. He still has a lot of room to grow out his frame, so he'll get more physical as he gets stronger. He's elite on and off the ball on defense as well, which is important because I feel like fans focus too much on what you can do on the ball, but what you do off the ball is what truly makes you an elite defender. I'll give you an example, like Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown is great as point of attack on ball defense. He is awful off the ball on defense, which is why I don't understand putting him all defense conversations. Cason Wallace is elite at both. He can be that point of attack on ball defender. He also has the feel and the traits you want off the ball, and he's just a special defensive prospect. The way I put it is, if he was as good on offense as he is on defense, he would be the second best player in this class. That's how great his defense is. And it's not like he's a bad offensive player either. He's not a great one by any means, but he is solid. He can hit open shots. He's a really good passer. He's a solid finisher at the basket. He isn't afraid of contact. Not elite as an offensive player, but not bad either. He has room to grow as an offensive player as well. It's very common to see Kentucky guards be a lot better on offense in the league than they were in college, and they just do things that maybe they sort of flash of here or there, but they expand in the league. Tyrese Maxey, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Devin Booker, Tyler Hero. The list goes on when it comes to players that have been a lot better in the NBA as offensive players at the guard spot than they were at Kentucky. And maybe Cason Wallace is that. It's not a guarantee that Wallace is that, but it wouldn't shock me either. And even if he isn't, he still will be a competent offensive player. I'd never watch Cason Wallace play and think, wow, this guy is useless on offense. I never got that vibe from him. It's not a guarantee that this happens, but if Wallace is an above average offensive player like a Drew Holiday, 17 to 20 points, 20 might be a bit of a reach, but I do think 17 is within the realm of possibility. 5 rebounds, 6 to 7 assists. He won't just be an all-star, he'll be all-NBA. That's how special his defense is. Where, in today's NBA, you almost have to average at least 20 points per game to be considered for all-NBA, because 20 points per game is the new 12 points per game now, it feels like. But I think Cason Wallace has defensive player of the year kind of traits where he could be all NBA even if he doesn't average 20 points because of how good he'll be defensively. one thing I've always believed when it comes to like someone like Marcus Smart is if Marcus Smart was a consistent offensive player, he would be a perennial all-star. He's not a bad offensive player. Not by any stretch of the imagination. He holds the record for most three-pointers in the game in Celtics history, which is a wild thing to say, but it is true. If Marcus Smart consistently was there on offense and was what he was at his best on offense, because at his best, Marcus Smart is an all-star like level offensive player. When he's in the groove, he's incredible. The problem is he is one of the most inconsistent offensive players in the league. If Marcus Smart was consistent on offense, he would easily be a perennial all-star. And I think the ceiling for what Wallace can be on offense is a consistent like Marcus Smart, which means that I think he can be a perennial all-star. I'm higher on Cason Wallace than most. I have a borderline top 5 grade on Cason Wallace. I'm considering even putting him in like that tier 2 or tier 3. He's currently in tier 3 actually, but like moving up to tier 2, I think he's that special of a prospect. It's one of my hot takes for this draft cycle, but at pick 9, it's worth the pick. At pick 16, I really like Leonard Miller for them. The 6'10 wing forward from Zero Ignite is a high potential prospect. I talked about him in the Pacers video, but the Pacers would have to trade out for him. They could get Leonard Miller at pick 16 if they're Utah, and I would take that swing. He has interesting potential as a point forward type. He has some interesting like handle stuff, interesting passing flashes. Needs to work on his shot. He is a bit of a project because the shot isn't there yet. He is a good free throw shooter, so there is hope that he can grow as a 3-point shooter. Needs to tweak the form a little bit. But he is further along than you would think. He put up a lot better numbers than you would think. A new 17-point double-double, points and rebounds on 63 true shooting percentage this past season, playing against grown men in the G League. So, considering they take Wallace in this scenario, someone that could be immediate impact but also has upside, I don't hate the idea of taking that upside swing in Leonard Miller here. And at pick 28, this is the pick they get from the Cavs. I like Julian Strawther for them. He's from Gonzaga. He's been a prospect for a few years now. He's finally declaring, and he's showing a lot of improvement over the years. He's a good shooter. He can play off the ball, which is important next to Lauri Markkanen in particular. He's somebody that can attack closeouts and is solid defensively. Just a well-rounded player that I think would be worth the pick. So at pick 28, you get an immediate impact guy that will not like make up for it, but you know, balance out your draft class a bit based off what you do at pick 9 and pick 16. So at pick 9, they take a high floor, relatively high ceiling prospect. At pick 16, they take that swing on the high ceiling, low floor prospect, even though I think the floor is a bit higher than others do, but still a low floor prospect. And at pick 28, they take the high floor prospect. A mix of everything, and 3 players that should fit well with the current core, both currently and for the future. Going into the season, if you told me I would be making this series of videos about the lottery teams, post-lottery, and what I think each should do, I would expect this one about the Jazz to be about Victor Wembanyama, Scoot Henderson, Amen Thompson, or Brandon Miller, and how they fit with the team. However, that clearly isn't the case. The Jazz overachieved this season, and while some may view this as wasting a season and quote-unquote ruining a tank job, that's not how this works. And it's a big example, if not the biggest example, of the disconnect between how NBA fans think and the reality of how the NBA works. Because players don't think like that. They aren't going to lose games on purpose. They don't want to lose games at all. Especially if it means that it puts their team in position to draft their replacement. That's not how they think. It's not how they're wired. And the Jazz emerged as a fun young team to watch. A team with players getting redemption. A team with fun young talent. And a team that should be fun for years to come with Lauri Markkanen, Walker Kessler, Taylor Horton-Tucker maybe improving, Colin Sexton being a fun microwave scorer, Ochai Agbaji developing, you know, among other things. Maybe even Chris Dunn, a full redemption arc. So, I think they're going to be fun for years to come. And I don't think the fact that they tanked this season, or excuse me, not tanked, they didn't tank this season, was a bad thing. because at the end of the day, that's not how the NBA works. But that's the end of this video. If you made it to this point, thank you so much. Again, haven't already, like, subscribe, hit notification bell, notified whenever I release a video. I'm making videos about basketball all the time, so if that interests you, I really think you enjoy this channel, and liking and subscribing are the two best ways you can help me out. Helps the channel, helps me out in the YouTube algorithm so more people find my videos in return, helps the channel grow so I can make more content for you guys in the future. Let's try to get 100 likes on this video so YouTube will recommend it to others. And again, thank you for the support on this series. These are longer videos, like near 20-minute videos. Some of them have been over 20 minutes. So the support you guys have been showing on them means the world to me. A lot of time goes into them. A lot of work goes into getting these out at a daily upload rate. I'm going to try to do that for the rest of these videos. I think I have like 3 or 4 left, I would say. So I'm excited for that. But again, thank you so much. Let me know what you think about the Jazz in the comment section below. But with that being said, have a nice day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.